Can you hear me now? Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Robert Bravo. I am one of the producers, and I was the practical special effects on Craving.
And that you were. He brought the blood, didn't he? Yeah. I'm Kevin Caliber. I played Mac. I was also one of the producers on it, as well as stunt coordinator, and even Jason even let me direct a little bit from little moments. So that was a lot of fun.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Undercuffler. I play Frenzy, and I'm also one of the producers with 50 Caliber Productions.
I'm Jay Horton, Jason. Thank you. Yeah, so I can get a big screen. I get a big one for Kevin, Joe. Come on. Or Tom. I didn't hear. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, anyway, I directed it and I wrote it along with Gregory Blair, who's somewhere in here.
Thank you guys so much for being here. That was so much fun. So my first question for you guys is I would love to know about this monster. How is it created?
Very slowly, over about 6 weeks. I built it myself in my garage. It is a dancing leotard, and mostly couch upholstery, and glue it all on there and then carve it out like marble. And then he's skinned in slip cast latex and a foam called L200. And lots of slow, boring work for many hours.
Oh yeah, he's like the mad scientist. He goes to his lab and he's just there, all hours of the night until the sun comes up. And originally we were gonna have a creature, there's people that do that professionally. There's people that mascots and characters that. So we thought about bringing one in, but then whenever we met Xavier, and he wanted to put on the suit. So that really was him in the suit. So hats off to him. That is not an easy feat. It was so hot. We did it last summer. It was, it's 110 degrees and so hot in the thing. So we would pull it up and put ice cubes down the back of it and everything else. But he was a beast. So yeah, truly a beast.
Xavier, stand up so we can clap for you, please.
Yeah, come on, Xavier. There he is.
That's commitment. We love it.
And then also Jeremy also played the other creature. He played the Shiloh creature. So
Stand up, Jeremy. Stand up.
Another one of those ones you'll never recognize him, but he was there having a lot of fun.
How long did it take, my question? Like, to do the entire monster, how long until it was finished?
Probably took about 6 weeks to build. There's 2 monsters, so 6 weeks each. And then, unfortunately, parts of them didn't survive. So, including the stuff that didn't make it, 8 weeks all in. Because there's a head I made that was supposed to be used in the film, and it collapsed the day before we started shooting. So that's why the head that's in the movie is so stiff. This was the stunt head for one scene. It was never actually supposed to be in the movie, and it became in every scene. So
It worked.
yeah, make it happen. Filmmaking 101.
Yeah, it's Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. But luckily we had Bravo there to handle that.
I'd also like to point out that Bravo made a replica of most of our heads on this production. So how many of our heads do you still have?
Actually, you're all getting your heads back tonight. They're in my car right now. Let's see, we did a live casting session on Kevin. We did a live casting session on Ashley. We did a live casting on Gregory. Who else? Well, we did a body casting on Ashley, so she had a full head to toe, well, head to stomach. I feel like I'm missing someone. There's lots of dead people.
When I didn't get to scream for that. You know what? One thing that was interesting about the monster, like you said, we used the stunt head, and it wasn't as flexible. So in order to give the monster a little bit more life in some of the close-ups, we actually took it off the monster completely, and Bravo just like put his hands in it. And so like in a lot of the close-ups, it's just his hands in there moving the monster in its mouth.
That's awesome.
Hollywood.
Actors, you guys are brave. Life casts are terrifying to do, especially on your face. So that's amazing. Congratulations. It's scary. I promise. Another question for my actors. So first off, congratulations. The performances were amazing. I'd like to know, how much did you guys stick to the script and how much was improvised?
I think Jason would know this best.
Yeah, it was pretty much all on book. I think I think it was almost 100% on book. I can't think of it. Gregory, you did some improv, right?
Of course.
Yeah, Gregory did a little bit, but he was also one of the writers on it. But yeah, I don't think we did too much. I allow for it, but we just didn't.
It was organic. It was very organic. So, best part about filming the movie, from all of you.
For me, getting to work with Jake Horton for the first time on a feature.
Yeah, it was such a great cast. It was a really big cast. It was hats off to Jason and of course Sophia, our DP, for just capturing so many people. It's such it's a very, very hard thing to do, to keep everybody engaged and interested. But it really was just such a fun cast, and worked with so many good people. And I was just happy I wasn't the monster this time, because Bravo's done me about 8-hour makeup jobs. I wore one similar to this, only we didn't have a mask, and he put it on me practically. So it was about 6 hours of makeup a day. So I was just glad that I didn't have to do that. So I was very grateful. He just gave me a little gray in the beard and called it at that. But no, just watching. I get a kick out of just watch the effects work. Me and Bravo actually met years and years ago on set, and I wasn't getting any effects done. I spent the whole time just watching him work, and that's how me and him got to know each other. And then later on, we've obviously worked together more. But I'm just so fascinated by that, and just watching him do it. Like I say, he's like a mad scientist, just watching the master at work. So hats off to you, bud.
First, thank you for that. I think for me, it's just seeing this thing happen. I was there with Jason when this got written 14 years ago. And this was our Kill Bill. This was the one that got shelved, and it had to wait until we were all kind of ready, until I knew how to pull this stuff off. And it's been a long road, and it's really exciting after all this time to actually make it. And if I can take too, just the incredible group of people, the family we put together, this was a really special one for me, and I'm incredibly grateful. So thank you. And thank you for being here.
My favorite part of the movie, probably rap. No, this was the first narrative feature I directed in like 4 years. I took a little break. I was doing documentaries, and just getting back on a narrative set again, and working with the actors, and just blocking, like the camera rehearsals were some of my favorite parts. And just wow. Working creatively, not that documentary filmmaking isn't creative, but working like in a fictitious arena again was really cool.
So what was one of the most difficult things that you guys experienced when making this movie?
So for me, the most difficult aspect of it, and it was also the best aspect of it, was working with the actors, but there were so many actors. So like I've directed a lot of features, and we had a principal cast of like 11 or 12, in a space, blocking them, moving them, covering them, directing each one of them, giving everybody, trying my best to give them an equal amount of attention, and it was very demanding. It was fun, but it was very demanding.
Very true. Is Kristen here, by the way? There she is. This girl had to keep up with her continuity with 12 principal actors every day. So she did amazing. Stand up. So, what was the question? Difficult, not favorite. Difficult, okay. For me, on the producing side, it was scheduling and budgeting. That was always really fun, with so many casting crew members. Oh, and my life casting. So yeah, I had to do a full head and torso, and it was my first time, you guys, so I did not know what I signed up for. And the head part was easy for me. That was way easier than the body. So I have a previous neck injury, and my neck likes to spasm now and again, and during our 3+ hour body cast, my neck decided to spasm. So Bravo was like, I will cut you out any moment you want me to. You just say the word, because you guys, I'm crying, and he's uncomfortable, and Jason left the room for a minute, because he didn't know what to do. And I'm like, no, I'm good, let's do it, it's for the art. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure, let's go. And we did it, and you guys all saw my head and spine get ripped out, right?
Yes.
Then that makes me happy, thank you so much.
Yeah, I think that from the producing standpoint and trying to figure out or keep track of where everybody was in that bar, because anybody who knows filmmaking, we don't shoot it in order. Yeah. So we had people that were in from out of town, like Scott, he came down and we knew that we had to shoot him out. And Miranda, she was in from out of town, so we're like, okay, what's that? Yeah. And Zero, we had these actors that were in town, and we know that we have them for 2 days. So we'll be in the middle of it, and it's like, oh, now we need to jump ahead to where they die, and then remember that, and then come back to it. But again, Kristen really stepped up with the continuity, and Rachel, she was a huge help. She was always on it, because whenever you have that many people in a room, and it's not like we're all just standing in the same spots. We're steadily moving, and we want it to be for continuity's sake. So that really was the most troubling part. And then all of a sudden you're covered in blood, and now it's like, oh, okay, we're going to shoot that scene that happened before, and you're not supposed to be bloody. You're like, what do we do? Yeah, so we're literally, there was a shower on set. We built the studio ourselves. So we actually built that set. And that was another little tough one, but Holly, she was our designer.
Holly, stand up.
Yeah, stand up. You deserve it. Of course, she was Gail as well. So yeah, absolute rock star. And we were all of us were on set, swinging hammers and all that. Jason was our lead carpenter, and there he is. Yeah. So yeah, this shit, not this Jason. This Jason doesn't swing a hammer. That Jason over there. So we're looking at it, and we're like, we're shooting tomorrow, and we still got half a bar. So it's. But we all stayed late, and it's like, it's fine. We'll just light it really dark, But again, it's one of the most rewarding parts too, because you actually build it from the ground up. We've all been to sets where you go to a stage, you say, okay, this is what it is, but to actually take something and physically build it, and it's where that sweat equity, the blood, sweat, tears really comes in. But it was all worth it. It was the most difficult, but it was the most rewarding because that bar was original. So yeah.
The most difficult for me was trying to balance being some level of a producer and running practical effects. We had 189 practical special effects in this, 30 gallons of blood. Was a lot more than it looks, and it's chaotic. As far as if I was to give a specific, we had, these things are always rushed. And when it came time to kill Miranda, who came in from out of town, we ended up having to do that face ripped up appliance, and we had 2 hours originally scheduled for it, and we ended up doing that entire makeup and having it on camera in 15 minutes. Which was a mission. And I am still thankful that she let me do that, because I wasn't able to have my usual, nice guy mentality. So, let's get it done. And again, that goes to say the caliber of the people we had, where when you had to rush and you had to do it hard, they let us. So yeah, I would say that that's both one of the best experiences and worst on the show, because as stressful as it was, we also like succeeded. So yeah, thank you.
All right, I think at this point I would like to open it up to the audience. If anyone has any questions, you right here.
Who did the editing?
I was the editor. Yeah, I tend to edit most of my movies, and honestly, it's not that I'm that controlling of it. It's just I'm cheap.
You're good at it.
Or okay.
He's good at it.
Okay. What's that? Oh yeah. Yeah. And Brooke was our on-set DIT. Sophia Casciola and Andrzejewski helped with the color. And Ever Young did the score. Oh yeah, no, I never mentioned. One thing that I thought really set this movie apart, especially for its budget level, was the digital effects. So like, all the flashbacks with the de-aged characters, you just don't see that in very low budget movies like this. And Brooke Hubbs actually mentioned on set that he could do some of that, and I was like, yeah, sure, bro. I honestly didn't believe him. But he sent a test shot like maybe a week or two after we wrapped, and it was just, it looks just like it does in the movie. It looked great. And I think that was a really cool thing.
I had a second part.
Oh, keep going.
And that was about the flashing back to the characters when they were younger, and that de-aging process was really amazing. So, was that a software that you used to do that, or?
I forget the name of the software.
You see? There's a lot of things.
Isn't there an app for that? Or?
Yeah, he actually did a video on it that I put up on the special features. It'll go on the Blu-ray, and it'll also be on the digital download page for the crowdfunding.
Very effective.
Yeah.
Any other questions? And you.
Can you talk a little bit about what your writing process was like how many drafts you made, how it developed through the process?
Sure, yeah. I think I wrote the first draft of this back in 2010, something like that. I went through a space where I was writing a lot. If you would have asked me around those days if I considered myself a writer or director, I would have said a writer first, even though I was directing more. But I really love to write. So my process, usually I start with a theme, and in this case it was the addiction theme, and I also thought there was a strong sense of found family amongst the heroin addicts and the bar patrons. And then I go to outline, then I write, and I probably went through, over the years, probably maybe 6 different drafts. I changed the location several times. It was a factory at one point, like they were like factory workers, all kinds of different stuff, and then landed on the bar. And then I hadn't looked at it in a couple of years, and I decided to kind of put it in someone else's hands. So I gave it to Gregory Blair, and he did a draft of it, and then we worked back and forth to fine tune it, and that's pretty much it.
You right there?
Are there any deleted scenes?
Yeah, there's maybe half a dozen or so. Nothing nothing really story-wise. It was one of those things, I think, as I was writing this, like sometimes I tend to write for an arbitrary page count, and I think some of it was padding, and I ended up pulling those things out. And there was one sequence, which I won't go into, that just didn't quite work out, so I cut that.
There was an extended scene where I kicked Toya's character's butt in the bathroom that we got rid of, that Kevin choreographed, and it looked great, yeah.
I didn't even realize I was going, you're right.
It's because it was a good movie.
Yeah. And the underwater fight sequences.
And the underwater fight sequences. I want to see that. He's kidding.
Yeah, it was all just pace stuff, especially in the middle section when she got into the flashbacks, which I really, really liked, but there was always a worry that you have all this momentum going in the present day stuff, and the flashbacks kind of feel sometimes like they could stop that momentum. So a lot of it happened in there too. That was cool.
Anybody? Right there.
How was how did you choreograph the transformations?
He asked, how did you choreograph the transformations?
We did not. Actually, Jason was willing to let me direct that, and previously, me and Xavier had just been spending time. We'd made the decision early on that he was going to, because he was down, be the guy in the suit. So the actor who played Will was also the suit actor. So we spent a lot of time talking about movement and how to be jerky and do those things. And then we kind of had a little bit of time, maybe about an hour or two, and we just played. I got to direct the scenes, and we went through it. And then for some of the meatier stuff, let's see, how many people played the creature during the transformation? Jason was the creature for the hands and chest changing. Xavier was the creature for the facial bladders. And I think I was the creature for I did my hand for a couple of sequences. So really it was just a matter of, we did not have a lot of time, and I kind of had an idea of what I wanted and squeezed things in whenever I can get someone to come down. We actually rebuilt a chunk of the bar in my garage and backyard. And did it there. So we had the luxury of time and just did it when we had people available.
Yeah, they did pickups as late as just in December to get even more. Sophia and them, they just went and said, we need a little bit more, and I guess you can never have too much of that. So I think it was all worth it.
You right there. We've got time for like 2 more questions.
I just, during the credits, there was a mention of a Toronto-based organization. I think you filmed us in Burbank, so what is that connection?
It's just a silly joke. When I first started making movies back in 2003, I was in New Orleans, but a lot of features at that time were being shot in Toronto. And it was just an inside joke amongst our film student friends. Like, everything was, thanks to the Toronto Film Commission. So pretty much every single movie I've ever directed, or edited anyway, has that credit. And not one of them was shot in Toronto.
Time for one more.
Big guy in the middle.
What's your favorite death scene? My favorite death scene is Kevin's, where his head is ripped apart, peeled down, and the blood shoots. That's my favorite.
My favorite is one I will never forget, when I kill my girlfriend Lee Quinn.
That was shocking.
It was,
oh my
wasn't
god,
it?
my heart was like.
That was brutal. That honestly was probably mine too, but just for the sake of changing it up. Mine was actually Frenzies. And one of the fun things about that is the projectile. So we're set up on the floor, then we have the camera over here, and again, Sophia is such a badass. She's down on the floor with the whatever you call it, with the plexiglass, because we just know it's gonna spray. And then we're all in trash bags, we're ready for it. And then Bravo's got his little fire extinguisher just ready to go. And he's got that look on his face, and she's laying on the ground, and we just know the blood's gonna spray. So yeah, it was like the anticipation.
Let's see, favorite death. I have 2 that I like a lot. I do like the one I talked about earlier, the face rip, but I think that's just because of the backstory and making it happen. But I'd have to agree with Jason that I would say my favorite is Kevin's. There's a version of it that I prefer more than the one that made it on camera. But it didn't work in the edit. Like, it was a cooler effect because I used something I call the bloodzuka, which is basically a potato gun that I modified to fire a gallon of blood at 80 psi. And I just stuffed the thing into Kevin's head, fake head, and pulled the trigger. We got one take, and unfortunately, I was aimed in the wrong direction, so it didn't entirely work for narrative. And then the gadget broke, like before I went to set up take two, and it broke, and we only had everyone for a few hours. So we did the fire extinguisher full of blood and stuffed it in there, and it looks hilarious now because it's just this little stream of blood coming out of his head. But it matched what we did to Holly up at the bar perfectly. So happy accidents.
Good question.
Yeah.
I also quite loved when Holly bashed Matt Wineglass's head in up there. That was intense. That was all of it. I'm gonna keep going.
Well, to wrap things up, can you tell us how we can follow the movie and your personal pages?
Sure. So you can follow the movie. I have a website, www.cravingmovie.com. We do a lot of social media stuff on Facebook. Again, Craving Movie. Instagram's at Craving Movie. Pretty much everything's at Craving Movie. And then me at DJ Horton, pretty much everywhere.
I am actress Ashley on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, it's Kevin Caliber everywhere, and also 50 Caliber Productions. We got a couple other fun projects that y'all might dig, including one that we might be doing. So just stay tuned.
Robert Bravo on all of the things, Robert M. Bravo. And then the website is www.bravofx.net. But because I'm amazing, it is down today. It will be back up in about 6 hours. I started working on it, and then I realized I had to make 45 flesh masks for the VIP people, which I did like 2 days ago. So if you don't know what's in your baggies, it's flesh masks.
And where can people watch the movie?
Oh yeah, it is already available on Amazon Prime, so please everybody watch it there. It is also, all the places. Yeah, I'll let you know.
Right now it's on Amazon for rental purchase, it's on YouTube for rental purchase, and Google Play for rental purchase. It'll widen out onto other platforms soon.
Can I just get all the cast and crew to stand so we can give you all a round of